He was gone before anyone could even scream. The door was open. The street was quiet. His coat still hung on the hook. Blood, just enough to know something terrible happened. No one knew who did it. No one saw a thing. The cold winter night held its breath, and Paul Logan was gone. You're watching At Unbelievable True Story, where we only tell real stories. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. It happened in England just 2 days before Christmas on December 23rd, 1993. Paul Logan, a 28-year-old man with a bright smile and bigger dreams, was walking home after a late shift at a local shop. Someone was waiting. Someone saw him leave. One small choice, a shortcut through a quiet lane, made it possible. According to the Office for National Statistics, there were over 15,000 homicides in England and Wales between 1980 and 1995, many still unsolved, ONS 1995. A simple self-defense class, even just knowing how to stay aware, might have helped Paul. But sometimes, life doesn't give warnings. The question isn't just who did this, it's why. And how a winter night in England turned deadly for a man just trying to get home. The full story? It's coming next. He was gone before anyone could even call for help. The street was silent. Only the sound of his boots on the wet pavement broke the winter night. The lamps flickered. Shadows moved, but no one was there. Paul Logan didn't know it, but someone was watching. Someone who had been waiting. He unlocked the door to his flat. He stepped inside, and then nothing. This story is based on real events reported by police and news sources. Paul Logan was 28 years old. He worked at a small shop in England, just outside the city. He liked music. He liked walking. He liked small jokes that made people laugh. He dreamed of opening his own cafe someday. Every day, he followed the same routine. Wake up, make tea, take the bus, work his shift, come home, watch TV, call his sister, go to bed. December in England was cold and dark. Nights came early, and the streets emptied quickly. Paul often walked home alone, thinking about Christmas, about the small gift he wanted for his family. On December 23rd, 1993, he finished work late. The shop was empty. The last customer had gone. Paul counted the coins in his till, locked the door, and stepped outside into the cold. He chose a shortcut, a small lane he thought was quicker, less crowded, fewer people, just him, the lamps, and the cold winter air. No one saw what happened next. No one heard the footsteps that followed him. No one knew the shadow that fell over him until it was too late. His neighbor, Mrs. Dalloway, remembered seeing him earlier that day. He looked tired, she said in an interview years later, but happy. He was humming a tune. He waved to me. That wave was the last anyone would see. Paul had a small flat, a modest place. Not much furniture, but it was his. A bed, a small table, a chair. The TV sat in the corner, its screen dark. The kettle was on the stove. He liked his tea hot. He liked his toast golden. He liked small routines because they made him feel safe. At 11:15 p.m., the police received a call. No one saw who made it. The line was silent, just heavy breathing. Then click, disconnected. When officers arrived, the flat was still. The door was unlocked. The kettle had cooled. Paul's coat was still on the hook. His wallet was gone. His keys were scattered. Blood stains marked the floor near the doorway. Enough to know he had been attacked. Not enough to tell a story clearly. Detectives arrived quickly. They walked through the flat slowly. Footsteps careful. Gloves on hands. Cameras clicked. Notes scribbled. Detective Inspector Graham Smith remembered the scene. It was winter. Cold. You could see your breath. The flat was quiet, but there was a feeling like someone had left too fast. Too angry. Too scared to stay. Paul's family was called. His sister, Anna, cried when she heard. She couldn't believe it. Paul, the man who made jokes at Christmas dinners, who helped her with her shopping, who always said, "Don't worry, I got this," was gone. The first 48 hours were critical. Police checked cameras, streetlights, bus records. They interviewed neighbors, friends, co-workers, everyone who knew him. Nothing. No leads. No witnesses. No clear suspect. The fact that it was December didn't help. Most people were indoors, away from the cold. Few saw or heard anything unusual. The morning papers ran small notices. Man found dead in flat. Police investigate sudden death. Nothing about suspects. Nothing about motive. Just a name. Paul Logan. It was a time when England had thousands of crimes unsolved. According to the Home Office, only about 70% of murders in the early 1990s were solved within the first year. Home Office, 1993. That left many families waiting for answers that never came. Investigators worked methodically. Footprints outside the flat. A few smudges on the doorframe. A partial fingerprint that didn't match anyone in the database. The killer had planned it, or had been lucky. Paul's routines were simple. Walk to work. Walk home. Small gestures, small choices. But someone used them against him. Someone studied him. Maybe they knew his schedule. Maybe it was random. The detectives couldn't say. The lane where Paul took his shortcut was dark. Just a few lamps. Trees on either side. The wind blew snow in soft drifts. Footsteps crunched in the snow sometimes. That night, none of those footsteps were recorded. None of the witnesses came forward. Even now, the lane is remembered. Not for its beauty, not for the soft snow, but for the night Paul Logan died. A small note found in the flat suggested he tried to call for help. His fingers trembled over the phone. Numbers dialed, but the line never connected. The shadow outside had been too fast. Neighbors said they heard nothing, but one recalled a noise. A thump, a cough, then silence. He told police months later, but it was too late to follow up. Memories fade. Evidence disappears. Paul's family did what they could. They called for help. They pressed the police. They held vigils. They offered rewards. They prayed. But the case went cold. The detectives never stopped. Files remained open. Every December, names were checked. Leads revisited. Witnesses re-interviewed. No one came forward. No one confessed. Paul Logan's story reminds us that even in winter, even during Christmas, danger can appear quietly. Even in routines, even in small choices, life can turn deadly. If a self-defense or awareness course had been taken, maybe Paul could have noticed a shadow. Maybe he could have escaped. Maybe not. Sometimes life is cruel. Sometimes it is random. This story is still unsolved. Paul Logan's killer is out there. Unknown. Waiting. Or maybe gone. The winter lane waits. Empty. Silent. Just like it was on December 23rd, 1993. And this is only the beginning. Paul Logan wasn't a hero. He wasn't rich. He wasn't famous. He was ordinary. But ordinary people die in extraordinary ways. And Paul's ordinary life made him vulnerable. He grew up in a small town outside the city. Quiet streets, neighbors who waved, a school with one football field and a single library. Paul liked school enough. Not the lessons, but the freedom. He liked the small moments, walking home with friends, buying candy at the corner shop, laughing at silly jokes. By the time he was 20, he moved closer to the city. Work was easier to find there. Shops, cafes, factories. He found a job at a small grocery store. Long hours, low pay, but he liked the people he worked with. He liked the routine. He liked being able to save a little money. Paul was careful with his money. Not cheap, but cautious. He wanted a life he could control. He wanted a little security, a little happiness. And he wanted to see Christmas come every year with joy, not stress. That winter of 1993, the city was quiet at night. Snow had started to fall. The streets glimmered with frost under the lamps. Paul liked walking home through the quieter lanes. He liked feeling the cold on his face. It made him feel alive. On December 23rd, he left work around 10:45 p.m. The shop was empty. He counted his coins, locked the door, and then he started walking home. He took his usual route at first, past the small park, past the empty cafe. But then, to save a few minutes, he turned into the lane he rarely used. No one knew who was waiting. No one knew why, but someone had been there, watching, waiting. Shadows moved in the darkness. A figure followed, careful, silent, patient. Paul's steps were slow at first. He felt tired. His coat was heavy. His mind was on Christmas shopping he hadn't finished. On the card he still needed to write for his sister. On the small box of chocolates he wanted to buy for his mother. He passed the old lamppost. Light flickered on the wet pavement. Footsteps behind him, soft, careful. He didn't notice. Not yet. He reached his flat, keys in hand. A deep breath. Relief. Safe. Inside. The door closed. And then it happened. Paul fought, tried to call for help, struggled with the unknown, but the shadow was faster, stronger, and the winter night outside waited silently, untouched. Detectives found the flat in chaos. Scattered keys, a wallet missing, a phone off the hook, blood on the floor. Enough to know something violent had happened, but not enough to identify a clear suspect. Detective Inspector Graham Smith spoke about the case years later. We followed every lead, every tip. We checked the cameras, the buses, the neighbors. Nothing. Not a single solid clue. It was like he disappeared into the night. Paul's sister, Anna, could not sleep for months. Every Christmas, she remembered him. Every holiday, she thought about the phone call that never came. The voice that never answered. Friends tried to help. Co-workers tried to help. But nothing brought answers. Only memories. Only shadows. Only the cold winter lanes where Paul walked. The investigation moved slowly. Homicide units rotated. Evidence collected. Fingerprints taken. But no match. No confession. No clue that led anywhere. One thing became clear. Paul Logan's killer knew what they were doing. The attack was precise. Quick. Calculated. Not random. The police believed it was a robbery at first. But nothing was taken except the wallet and a few coins. And even those could have been taken to confuse the case. The lane became infamous among locals. A place to avoid at night. Even the street lamps seemed to flicker differently when someone walked through. Cold winds whispered through the trees. And in winter, the quiet was heavier, thicker. The small town community grieved quietly. Some held vigils. Some lit candles in memory. Others simply whispered his name. Paul Logan. A life ended before its time. A future stolen. The detectives went back to basics. Interviews. Revisiting streets. Talking to shopkeepers. Checking buses. Nothing new. Every lead ended in silence. According to the Office for National Statistics, in the 1990s, nearly 30% of murders in England remained unsolved after 5 years. ONS, 1995. Paul's case fell into that category. Cold. Forgotten by some. Remembered by family. Paul's parents never stopped hoping. They believed someone would come forward. A witness. A friend. Someone with a conscience. But years passed. Christmases came and went. The lane remained dark. Silent. Waiting. Even now, locals whisper. They say you can feel a presence there on winter nights. Not a ghost. Not supernatural. Just the memory of a man who was ordinary. Walking home. Trusting the world. And never coming back. Paul's story teaches a small but hard lesson. Even routine can be dangerous. Even familiar streets can hide threats. Being aware, taking a self-defense course, learning simple precautions, these things matter. Not enough to guarantee safety, but enough to sometimes survive. And yet, nothing prepared anyone for the absence of Paul Logan. His flat remained empty for weeks. His bed untouched. His tea kettle untouched. The calendar still marked December 23rd. The case remains unsolved. The police file is thick. Notes, photos, witness statements. But the killer has never been caught. The shadows of that night remain. The winter lane is still there. Waiting. Silent. Paul Logan's life was simple. His dreams were small. But his death left a big question. Who did this? Why? And will they ever be caught? This is the part where the story stretches beyond the facts we know. The timeline ends, but the mystery grows. The winter night of December 23rd, 1993, holds its secrets tightly. The lane still exists. The lampposts still flicker. The wind still blows snow across the street. And Paul Logan's memory waits quietly in the cold. The police never gave up. Every winter, detectives dusted the case files. Every December, they reviewed the evidence again. Footprints, fingerprints, witness statements, tiny details that might have been missed. Detective Inspector Graham Smith stayed on the case longer than most. He remembered Paul, not personally but the scene, the fear, the silence. He remembered the flat, the cold, the unanswered phone. It wasn't just a murder, he said years later. It was a life erased. A family left with nothing. Paul's sister Anna tried to understand. She combed through old letters, old photos, old memories. She tried to remember every detail. His laugh, his favorite sweater, the way he always took his tea with 2 sugars. She wanted to hold on to the life that was stolen. But the hole left by that night was too big. Neighbors remembered small things too. The man who always walked by late at night. The lights in the flat that stayed on longer than usual. A cat that used to wait at the door. Nothing that mattered to the police, but everything to the memory of Paul. Police looked at the lane again. They retraced his steps. Every crack in the pavement. Every shadow cast by the flickering lamps. They interviewed passersby who had been in the area years before. No one remembered seeing anything unusual. One clue seemed promising at first. A fingerprint on the phone receiver. Not Paul's, someone else's, but no match in the national database. That lead ran cold in weeks. Another tip came from a man who claimed he had seen someone running from the lane on December 23rd. The description was vague. A shadow, dark coat, quick, gone. The police followed it. Dead end. The community tried to help. Flyers posted. Rewards offered. Donations to keep the search alive. But the months turned into years. People forgot. The city moved on. Paul's family did not. They kept his room intact. His small flat untouched. His Christmas present from 1993 still in a box, unopened. It was not unusual for England in the 1990s. Many murders went unsolved. In 1994, the Home Office reported that nearly 1/3 of all homicide cases remained unresolved after a year. Home Office, 1994. Paul's case fit that pattern. Cold, unanswered, waiting. Detectives considered every theory. Robbery gone wrong, personal grudge, random violence. But nothing fit perfectly. No suspects emerged. No confessions. No witnesses stepped forward. And yet there were small hints. Small patterns. People who seemed out of place. Shadows that moved in the wrong direction. But nothing solid. Paul's friends remembered him laughing at work, helping customers, talking about opening a small cafe someday. He wasn't afraid of life. He trusted people. He liked small kindnesses. And maybe that trust made him a target. Anna often spoke about her brother to the local press. He was careful, she said. Always aware. Always polite. He didn't deserve this. But no one could explain why someone would choose him. The flat eventually changed hands. But locals remembered. The lane was still avoided at night. The lampposts still flickered. The snow still made the street look peaceful. Too peaceful. Years passed. Detectives retired. Others took over. Cold cases sometimes get solved decades later. Sometimes a fingerprint matches a new database entry. Sometimes a witness finally remembers. But for Paul Logan, nothing changed. His killer remained free. The questions remained. Paul's story also reminded people about awareness. A simple self-defense class. A safety routine. Being alert at night. These things could save a life. Maybe not Paul's, but someone else's. One small detail haunted the police. The phone call. They believed Paul had tried to call for help. But the line went dead. Someone had waited outside. Someone had known how to act quickly. The winter night helped. Dark, cold, silent. And Paul trusted it. The city tried to move on. Shops stayed open later during Christmas. Lights hung on trees. Carols played. But in one small lane, the memory of Paul Logan stayed. Winter winds carried whispers of what happened. Shadows held secrets. Anna kept a small shrine. A photograph. A candle. A note that read, "We will find you someday." It wasn't just hope. It was love. It was memory. It was the only way to fight against a life cut short. Detectives revisited every detail, every clue, every note. But the cold case files grew thicker. The lane remained dark. Streets moved on. Families celebrated. But Paul's family remembered. Every winter, every Christmas. The killer was careful, patient. Maybe he never acted again. Maybe he blended into society. But for Paul Logan, one night was enough. One winter night. One life gone. One family broken. Paul's death also reminded the city of the fragility of life, the importance of vigilance, the randomness of violence, and the pain of losing someone without closure. Even now, people whisper. They say the lane is unlucky. They say it's quiet, too quiet. They say the lamps flicker strangely at night. But no one speaks of the killer. No one knows who. No one knows why. Paul Logan's story is one of loss, one of mystery, one of winter nights that turned deadly. A simple man, a simple life, taken without reason, and the lane waits. Every December, the snow falls. Lamps flicker, shadows stretch, and Paul Logan's memory stays alive, even if his killer does not. Years passed, and the city changed. Shops got new signs. Streets were repaved. Lamps were replaced. But the lane where Paul Logan walked that December night stayed the same. Silent, empty, cold. A reminder of a life ended too soon. Police continued to review the files. Every winter, detectives checked old evidence. Fingerprints, notes, phone records, witness statements. Every lead was revisited. Every clue analyzed. But nothing new ever came up. The killer remained unknown. Anna never stopped hoping. She visited the lane sometimes, standing where Paul had last walked. She spoke aloud, as if he could hear her. "We won't forget you," she said. "We'll find who did this." It was both grief and determination. The family kept Paul's flat as it had been. His coat still hung by the door, his bed untouched, his teacup on the table. It became a shrine of memory, a place where he still existed, at least in part. Friends and neighbors told stories. Small, simple memories. His laugh, the way he helped carry groceries for an elderly neighbor, the little jokes that brighten a room. Each story reminded them that he was more than a name in the newspaper. He was real. He was loved. Police considered every theory. Random attack, personal grudge, robbery gone wrong, stranger crime. But no one fit. No one confessed. No witnesses came forward. And so the case stayed cold. Every December, awareness campaigns reminded people about safety. Walking in pairs, staying in well-lit areas, taking self-defense courses. Paul's story was often quietly mentioned. Not for fear, not for shock, but as a lesson. One life lost, one family hurt, and one reminder that safety matters. Detective Inspector Graham Smith reflected later. Paul's death taught us that sometimes even small choices matter. A shortcut, a quiet street, a winter night. They don't justify the violence, but they remind us that life is fragile and vigilance is necessary. The lane is still there. The lamps still flicker. The snow still falls in December. And in the quiet, if you walk slowly, you might feel it, the absence of a man who once lived there. A man who laughed. A man who dreamed. A man taken too soon. The mystery remains. The killer was never caught. Police files remain open, waiting for a break. Perhaps someone remembers something now, years later. Perhaps a fingerprint will match. Perhaps a confession will come. But until that day, Paul Logan remains a name, a memory, a warning, a winter story of loss. Anna often tells visitors about her brother. He was ordinary, she says, but his life mattered, and he deserved justice. We'll never stop remembering him. The story also reminds others to take precautions. Simple things can make a difference. Awareness, self-defense, paying attention to surroundings. It's not always enough, but sometimes it is. Paul Logan's death left an emptiness, not just in his family's lives, but in the community. The lane became a symbol. The winter night became a memory. And every December, when the snow falls and the lamps flicker, people remember him. The lesson is clear. Life can change in an instant. A small choice, a quiet street, a shadow in the dark, and someone you love can be gone before you even realize it. Paul Logan's story ends without answers, but it does not end without memory. His family remembers him. Friends remember him. The city remembers him. And through that memory, Paul Logan continues to matter. Every winter, the lane waits. Every December, the snow falls. And the question lingers. Who did it? Why did it happen? Will justice ever come? For now, the answer is unknown. The case remains unsolved. But the memory of Paul Logan, his laugh, his dreams, and his life, ordinary, simple, real, stays alive. And for those watching, his story serves as a quiet warning. Be careful. Pay attention. Life is fragile, and even ordinary nights can turn deadly. Paul Logan is gone, but he is not forgotten, and the lane waits. Silent, cold, waiting for the day someone finally tells the truth.